Hello, I'm Dr. Gareth Moore and I'm a puzzle and brain training author. But this is not about my puzzles, this is about the puzzles in this, the Exit the Game Advent Calendar for 2023, The Silent Storm. And as always, we will start today, day 9, by having a look at the storybook. We will get rid of the help and instructions in the hope that we don't need the solutions and so forth, and jump straight to the story for today. Now I've had a quick look at the story already, because I think that reading it all out is a bit much. But it basically says you hurriedly leave the elevator in the previous day when suddenly you spot the stranger the boss was talking about in the previous day, the reason they've evacuated Santa's workshop. Yes, it says a huge shadow scurries by outside, briefly darkening everything, and at the same time the ground shakes with violent jolts. You dive into the conference table for cover because something gigantic is out there. There's no way that could be a normal person. Feels like an eternity until everything finally calms down, but then whoever was outside the window is gone. So you look around the conference room. Apparently there was a meeting here recently. It seems as though the participants were surprised by the events and hastily fled. Chairs have fallen over and name tags are scattered everywhere. You know that the boss doesn't like clutter in the conference room, but since you're here anyway, you decide to have a tidy up to calm your nerves. And inside the room we expect to find 2 riddle cards, I1 and I2, 8 strange items, name tags. Now, this makes me think of the previous 8 days where we've collected an employee ID card each day. So is it a coincidence that we're on day 9 and that it refers to 8 items and we have 8 cards? I don't think so. This is the decoder table we need later to work out where our room is. Usually involves finding the 3-digit code. Here's the calendar. And yesterday we found that day 9 was up here at the top. Here we go. I don't like the fact my hand gets in the way, but there we go. Right, oh, what's on the back of the door? Pot plant. Lovely. And inside the room, okay, so here are the employee ID cards. No, not ID cards, the employee name cards it referred to. Right, okay, so that's Pamela. Certainly some of these letters are written unusually, aren't they? Pamela, Doris, Janik, Susan, Schlatten, Tobias, Rudy and Benno. And I definitely recognise these as the names of the employees whose ID cards we've seen before, at least some of them anyway. But let's have a look in the room and at the riddle cards that are in the room too, first, before we come to any conclusions. Please could you get everything ready for the team meeting tomorrow? You know what needs doing. No. Just leave the name tags ready on the table. Okay, so we need to lay out the table. And then we have CHD, AE, FBG. That probably refers to the riddle cards, as each day's riddle cards have got a different letter on. And we have A to H for the previous day's riddle cards that have the employee IDs on. I'll have a look at those in just a minute. And there's a poinsettia on the table, very nice. But there are 12 chairs and only 8 employees. That's interesting. Let's have a look in the room and see if that helps us understand what's going on. Right, a very moody looking conference room. I guess that's where you saw someone outside. And didn't we go up a floor in the lift yesterday? So this must be on at least the first floor, unless we went underground before, I guess. Yeah, it's on the floor. There's a knocked over chair and a pot plant, but not much else. On the right hand wall, just a fallen over chair. On the left hand wall, oh, what does that say? Real estate award, it says. Oh, look, and that's the inn. No, the stable in Nazareth, isn't it? And then it says meeting, and then there's some incoherent notes underneath. There's nothing very useful in the room unless we need to know about the real estate award. And then on the roof, it's quite elaborate. But I have to say, it doesn't seem to be anything particularly in that room. Oh, wait, maybe the discarded chairs are important? We know we have 8 employees. The 2 appear to be 3, 4, 5, 6 chairs still upright. 1 on the floor here, 7. And the 8th chair is here. So that's interesting because there are 8 chairs in there, but the plan of the room has 12 chairs. So I don't know what's happened to the other 4 chairs. And we have, let's just check how many for sure. We've got all 8 names it mentioned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, well I think I'm going to need the employee ID cards for this. I mean I must do, right? Otherwise why have I gathered them? So let's get them out of the room. So this is door 9, here's door 4, and here there's an employee ID card for Janik. Door 6, employee ID card for Tobias. If you haven't watched previous doors, I'm opening them all very quickly, I should warn you. Doris in day 5 and over in day 7 there is it's off the top of the screen, but there is Zlatan. In day 8, we had Benno. In day 3, we had Susan. in day 1, we had Rudy, and in day 2, we had Pamela. Right, so how many of these have we got? Right, let's open door 9 again to don't forget where we are. I should have 8 of these cards now. 1, 2, 3. They're not the same size. Look at that. How curious. Must be something to do with the printing requirements of one of the days. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for each elf, I have their full name, their department, what they look like. And I know they're all department heads. They all have these stamps saying department head. And I think the cards just have nothing on the back other than the letter from the day they were on. So we have those letters, and presumably they do correspond with the letters on here. So, oh, right, okay. So all I'm doing with the cards is identifying which of these is which letter, and the chairs are not important, I don't think. I just press all the cards out. I think I'm just arranging them in the order of the days, and then I'll read down the side, and these spell something out, or spell some numbers out. So each day I do usually want 3 numbers, 3 digits, I should really say, and we'll see if we're going to end up with that today. Right, so there are my very neatly, I think, pressed out name cards. Maybe I'll do a better job. Right, we've got Benno. We've got Rudy. We've got... Oh, interesting. Look, sorry, I don't know if you can see it on camera. We've got Tobias, and he loses a bit of his card when I tear it out. A bit of his number, I want to say. And that same happened to Zlatan, in fact. Presumably that's intentional. And then we've got Susan. And we've got Yannick, who again loses quite a large part of their letter when I tear that out. And Pamela. Right, is that 8? 4, 5, 6, 7. No. Aha. Here's Doris. I am notorious at leaving one bit of a puzzle lying around and not having it all on screen and then getting stuck. Right. So, I think we need to arrange these in order of their letters. So, let's first of all arrange our cards in the order of the letters on the table. So, A, B, G, E. Where's A gone? A, E. Right, so that's the bottom of it. A, E, F, B, G. So, let's just pick those up. G and B and F and E and A. And on top of A, we want D, H, C. So, D, H, C. So, if I arrange the cards the way it shows... Is it like that? Let's assume it's like that, though we want them. And just put them all in a row. Is that going to help? It appears that they overlap. Oh, they do overlap, don't they? They're going to go like this, so that the words connect together, I think. In which case it's probably helpful if I squash them slightly so they're more visible on camera. But I can do that as I go. Let's start by putting them out in order. So we've got Susan first. Okay, so we've got Susan. And then we have Benno. So I will put Benno overlapping Susan, like in the picture. Do we think that's right? Like that? They do appear to go together. They go together very neatly indeed. Let's leave that like that. And next up we have Yannick, who must be under there, yes. So, do they go together? If I line them as it shows in the picture, it looks like that. And I don't recognise that as a number or a digit. Okay, well, we'll just put them all together and see what happens, I think is the best plan. Rudy. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to overlap them like in the picture. Of course, it's possible I'm overlapping them the wrong way. It's hard to be sure, because it shows G as a full-length one and C as a full-length one. So it's actually not possible to tell from that whether you are putting C on top of H or H on top of C. But we've got Rudy. Then we've got Doris. I mean, they appear to go together. And then we have Tobias. Again, that appears to go together. That's a 7. I'm pretty confident that's a 7 we formed there. So maybe we can work out what this first digit is in a minute. And then we have Pamela. So Pamela appears to connect to that far bit of Tobias. Maybe we've got them the wrong way up. And then we have, finally, Zlatan. I don't know how to pronounce that name. And that looks like a... I'm not very happy with that. So I'm going to reverse the order and see if that improves it. With this one first. Well, that's not going to make any sense, is it? Because the I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, because that's obviously just going to cover them over. I must have had them in the right order. Right, so I'm just going to do this the whole thing again. So Susan is covered by Benno. And they do fit together. So that does feel right. And then Yannick goes there. Yannick doesn't really line up with those. Unless I push them in really tight like this. Ah, that's what I didn't do before. I didn't push them tight enough. That's a 5. Okay, fine. So we were on the right track. I just haven't pushed the numbers close together, the pieces close enough together. They're going to keep moving. There was a 5, and then I think I have to really tightly overlap them. Then there was the 7 that we did successfully form. I've lost the 5, but it said 5, 7. And then 2 last digits. So 2 last cards. I push them really tightly on top of each other. I've got a 7 again. Okay, fine. So I was on the right track. I just wasn't aggressive enough in overlapping them. There. Can you see that? 5, 7, 7. Oh my goodness, it's hard to get them to stay together. But it doesn't really matter. It's 5. It is for sure 5, 7, 7. 5, 7, 7. 5, 7, 7. Tells us to move from our day to day, which you can't see. It's up here. As follows. So from 9 down left 1, and then down 1 to here. Oh, and then down another. So I'll keep my finger on there. And let's go down to another one. And we're expecting to see L, L star. We have successfully. Why is that open? Oh, because my thumb is, it's not fully open. My thumb is pressed down here as I picked up the calendars, what's clearly happened. And that is our door for day 10. So we can write 10 on it and open it tomorrow. Well, there we go. Successfully solved after a brief confusion. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, do please join me in tomorrow's video when I shall open door 10 and read the story for day 10 and find out the next thrilling instalment in the story of the Silent Storm. I hope you join me for that. And also in the meantime, you might want to view some of the videos that will appear at the end of this video of the other advent calendars I'm solving this Christmas, and those I've solved, and some exit type games I've solved in the past, including actual exit games. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe to my channel. It's really helpful for me. And please like this video if you don't mind. And if you have any comments, do please feel free to share them. I love reading them, I really do. So that's always wonderful to read your comments. But otherwise, all that really remains for me to say is that until I see you in a future video, take care and goodbye.